Let's continue with the next presentation. We have Alexander Rybakov from Interactive, and he's talk about composable AI infrastructure with Plone and beyond. Give it up for Alexander.
Yes, welcome everybody. As he already said, I will tell you something about this composable AI infrastructure, which we call Kyra. First of all, let's go through the agenda. First, I will of course tell you about Kyra and its key features of authentication, customer management and proxying. Then I will tell you about our agent abstraction and of course how to use Kyra. I will tell you about the application front end and the future outlook, what we plan for the future. First of all, about me. My name is Alexander Rybakov. I'm 20 years old and I'm a junior developer at Interactive. Yeah, there's not much else to say. I will just get started right away. So about Kyra. First of all, let's talk about what even is Kyra. So Kyra is a lightweight API gateway. It is designed to connect all your tools and AI agents in one central place. Tools can be accessed using either the REST API, such as the prompt management I showed you yesterday, if you were there, or using the MCP protocol. A tool could be anything. For example, it could be a web browser, it could be a web scraper, it could be a translation service, document storage, whatever. The list goes on. It could also be the Plone MCP that was presented to us yesterday during the lightning talks. The key features, as I said, include these three: authentication, customer management, and the HTML editing should not be there. It should be proxying. Right, so let's talk about the key features in a little bit more detail. So first of all, we have the authentication. To protect the gateway from unauthorized access, we implemented the authentication using Keycloak. The main reason for Keycloak for us is, of course, it's open source. We can host it ourselves, and it has some useful built-in features. To authenticate yourself, you require three things, which would be the admin console, which is the name for the dashboard of Keycloak. Then, of course, you need an admin that can create a client for you. And when you create a client, you will get a client ID and a client token that you can use to generate a JSON web token. Then we have the customer management. Kyra can differentiate between different customers, which enables us to use a central Kyra instance for multiple customers or clients, users. This is done using one of those built-in features of Keycloak. They are called realms. And I think to understand what a realm is, we can just read this excerpt from the documentation. A realm manages a set of users, credentials, roles, and groups. A user belongs to and logs into a realm. Realms are isolated from one another and can only manage and authenticate the users that they control. Finally, we have the proxying feature. All tool calls and agent calls happen through the centralized gateway. When a user sends a request, the gateway will find the target's URL and redirect the request to the target. For now, the only targets a client can send requests to are tools. In the future, there are also target agents, which can send requests to the gateway, and they can either call a tool or respond directly to the agent. Therefore, the client never really speaks to the tools or agent himself. It all happens through our gateway. Finally, the agent abstraction. I just said they cannot talk to agents yet. That's why you can see the not yet. But I want to show you the idea behind it nonetheless, because in the future, this is going to be one of the key features as well. So, AI agents. The idea is to create an abstraction for creating agents using LangGraph and LangChain. Normally, to define an agent, I don't know if any of you used LangChain or LangGraph before, you would write a script using these libraries and you would hard code tools. Kyra will make it possible to define agents graphically by selecting the tools, only the tools that you want them to have. Additionally, an agent can of course be given a role and knowledge, for example in form of PDF documents. And they can either use a proprietary LLM like ChatGPT, or you can also self-host an LLM. To prevent overloading the context of an agent with too many tools, the agent can and it should be assigned a tool set that only fits one purpose. Therefore, if you have different tasks, you will have different agents, and this will create a multi-agent infrastructure. So, I've talked about features enough now. Let's talk about how to use Kyra. So, we don't have a web interface yet, so the gateway will be accessed using the REST API. Currently, there's one protected route for managing tools, and there's one protected route for accessing tools. There's also a health check route, which is public. To get a token, for example, which you can see here, you would post the grant type, client ID, and client secret, and you will give it to the realm's token route. And then 2 more examples. To register a tool, for example, you would use the JSON Web Token. You would pass a tool ID and tool URL, which would be the target URL your request is redirected to. And to use a tool, you would use the tool's ID, of course, and you can send the request to this tool's API route. And of course, here again, you need your JSON Web Token to authorize yourself. Then, the application front end. If you paid close attention, you know that I already said we don't have a web interface. And, in fact, you might even be wondering what this has to do with you, the Plone community. And yes, this is where Plone comes into play, or it could be any other front end. But we chose Plone. Since all communication happens over the REST API, we can simply use Plone and use API calls to access the Kyra gateway. A useful tool here for larger Kyra setups is Kubernetes, since it can be used for load balancing and orchestration. For our own setup at our company, we use the Kubernetes management platform called Rancher. And Rancher just allows us to monitor our tools and Kyra instances and any other containers we have, for example, databases. But the specific setup you use here is really just individual preferences up to you. And the good news for you is that you don't have to do any of this, because we are currently working on an add-on that implements Kyra into Plone applications. If you heard my talk on AI for editors yesterday, you already know that we have the prompt management tool, which is, in my opinion, very powerful. And I think some of you also recognize that. For those who have not been there, it's just, basically it's an AI integration for the classic UI's tiny MCE. If you have not been there, I recommend you watch the talk if you find this interesting so far. I already mentioned yesterday, we are also creating a Plone add-on for this prompt management tool. So these two will go hand in hand, basically. They will fit seamlessly together. Then, finally, we have the future outlook. As said, this is currently a work in progress, and we already have a few features, but of course, the development does not end here. For the future, we of course want to implement this agent abstraction layer I have already told you about. Also, a web interface is planned for the future, and we also want to increase the variety of tools that can be implemented with Kyra. But more importantly, we want to integrate these tools with Plone in form of Plone add-ons, so we can have a truly composable AI infrastructure. If I sparked your interest in this topic, you are happily invited to start our GitHub repository, so you can follow our development progress or even implement this infrastructure in your own Plone projects. I really hope that you enjoyed this talk. I spoke a little fast, so we are done very quick. But I really hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Alexander. Now we have time for questions and comments. Yes.
Oh, nice. Hi. I was curious and I Googled Kyra just before. Are you aware that there is a Kyra AI project out there? apparently to share custom LLMs also?
I am not aware.
Which
We can
is
ask Jörg Zell. He's also not aware of that.
so it's also about AI. It's easy to get misleaded. So just because I might not have understood everything because I was a bit misleaded, you are building the infrastructure that you can provide whatever AI tools in a generic way, which then could be used alone or even in interaction with each other to fulfill tasks for a content management system, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then you provide your own server farm for all that computation power and these tasks run there. And it's completely opaque for the user what's behind.
Yes, so exactly. It's supposed to be as composable as possible, as modular as possible. I don't have the graphic right here. So basically you have this, where is it? Nope, not this. Yes, this gateway, which is your central Kyra thing. This is the main part of it. And it can connect to tools, as can be seen. Where is it? Right here, you give every tool an ID and a URL, and it will proxy your request to the tool. The tool, whatever it is up to you. The idea is that you have, I don't know what, for example, the Figma MCP could be a tool. In the best case, you want to self-host all these tools because then you have the full control. But you could also add, for example, the Figma MCP or any other tool. And yes, and then you could also add agents in the future, which can communicate with these tools all over this, all over the gateway.
Super. Thank you.
More questions? All right, I missed your yesterday's session, so I really need to check it out and all the other AI stuff that you have been talking about here. But thank you, Alexander. We have a short break before the next presentation, so thank you.